a lot of people don't know about me just looking at me is I love cooking. It doesn't look like I've eaten a meal in my life, but I love cooking. It's what I did before music and everything like that. It's a really therapeutic thing for me. So when I'm not touring, I like being at home. I got my head in a recipe book. I like cooking at home, man. I miss that. It's probably one of the main things that I miss when I'm on tour is home-cooked meals. And the idea of like cooking for people and sitting down, good conversation, good wine, I like that too. My specialty would be Italian just because that's, you know, I worked in Italian for so long. I worked in a soul food joint too for a while in Seattle. I didn't really gain a lot of knowledge there, but I can make a pretty wicked etouffee if I have to. I guess something that a lot of people don't know about me, and I don't talk about it that much, and I get asked a lot in interviews, and it seems to confuse people. I do a lot of the production on the records, and a lot of people get confused because they'll see, oh, it's produced by yada, 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 or, you know, I've co-produced every record. I produced half of 88 Keys and counting. You know, I grew up playing instruments. My grandfather was a piano player, and, you know, my dad is like a super hardcore record head and a blues guitarist. So I grew up around the music and was playing music my whole entire life, and kind of the combination of all that stuff brought me into, you know, hip hop, because I was able to take the records that my dad listened to, the piano that my grandfather taught me, and the guitar that my dad taught me, and throw it all together. And not the greatest singer in the world, so, you know, I can kick some raps over it, and then it gets to be everything. But, you know, producing and making music is probably first on my mind, especially before the rapping part, before the lyrics. Like, that always comes second to me. Like, I never have the lyrics before I have the music. I went to school to be a teacher, and I wasn't really agreeing with a lot of things that I was learning in that, so I kind of dropped out after 2 years, and I went into audio school. And my goal at that point was to, be a studio guy. I wanted to make records, whether I was mixing records or producing records or, you know, even just session playing on some records. I wanted to be in the studio. But, you know, making music has always been a therapeutic thing for me. I've always done it. I'm always going to do it. Even when the bottom drops out of all this, it's still going to be there for me. I still want to exist in music. I still want to be able to, you know, work in a studio or produce for people. I never thought that it would be the other way around. I never thought that I'd be the one, you know, going on stage and going on tour and doing interviews and stuff like that. Like, I always thought that I'd be the guy behind everything. One of my biggest pet peeves, social media has opened things up so close now that everyone, you know, they have a voice, and that's great. But can white girls, little tiny white girls, stop dropping the M-bomb on me? It's so awkward and uncomfortable. It is, I think it's my least favorite thing. And especially with like hip hop becoming the way that it is now, it's like such a okay thing, I think. But it's like, you know, kids come to the concerts and drop it, and it's disgusting. You guys gotta knock that shit off. My celebrity crush, and it's a heavy one, I would leave the wife and kids on Christmas morning for Kristen Ritter. I would leave the wife and kids on Christmas morning and the fucking dog. I'd leave them all behind for Kristen Ritter. If you were watching this, boo-boo, let me get at you. I know he wants me to make eye contact with him right now, but he doesn't look like Kristen Ritter. So watch me, girl, I'm coming for you. Yeah, my second runner-up celebrity crush is Zooey Deschanel. I got a thing for like the Christina Ricci's and the Zooey Deschanel's, and the Kristen Ritter, she's taller, but she's kind of the same to me, but she's a super babe. But yeah, Zooey Deschanel. If Kristen Ritter wasn't available, I'd go knocking on Zooey Deschanel's door.
So we get in there, I'm like, fuck it, we gotta do it, the news is here. So we get into the tank, they start lowering it down, and I'm like, this ain't that bad, because the alligator is like over here on this ledge, and it's huge. I'm talking about like 15, 16 feet.
Dude, it was quite a journey to get with Strange Music in the process. Beforehand, before we even signed anything, it took us, I would say, at least 10 years before that ink dried. And lots of independent projects and shows and everything else in between, and small cars and short trips and you know, floors of people's cribs.
I know the stories.
You name it.
Seeing somebody in the exact same place as me and watching all hope of ever succeeding fall away, and watching that progression completely stop, watching that hit that brick wall and just shatter, was really motivating and eye-opening.
And I look at this, I'm like, this is what I think this is. I look over to the crowd and I see this guy in the crowd like, so I'm like, oh, this is ecstasy. What the fuck? Like, he was just making it rain, X pills. He's like, for you, for you.